Just arrived in southern Spain and I'm ready for my first taste. Breakfast. These are churros. They're deep-fried batter, similar to a donut. Most Spaniards eat them for breakfast on their way to work. And to be really authentic, you want to dip them in hot chocolate. Churros con chocolate.
Welcome to Spain, located in the southwest of Europe. My food adventure takes place in the south, starting with a trip to Jerez.
Now that's as fresh as it gets.
And a taste of the legendary sherry country. Then on to the sunny beaches of the Costa del Sol, where I fan the flames of a giant paella, before trekking up north to the Sierra Nevada mountains for a slice of famous mountain ham. From the olive groves of Jaén to bullfights and
Cojones del toro.
Southern Spain is a non-stop fiesta. Best of all, along the way, I get a peek into the kitchens of local chefs who whip up some of southern Spain's classic dishes.
Ta-da! Seville is the capital of Andalusia, and Andalusia is the heart of the south. It's known for Moorish architecture, flamenco, bullfights, and great food.
I first discovered Spanish food as a student living in Madrid, and have drawn much inspiration from local dishes for recipes in my own cookbook. On this trip, I want to delve even deeper to learn about the roots of the South's unique gastronomic traditions. One such tradition is tapas. My friend Paco has agreed to give me a lift and take me on a tapas tour. Vamos! Tapas is the custom of ordering tiny portions of savory food with your drinks at a bar. A tapa can be as simple as a plate of olives, or more elaborate bits of stews, frittatas, seafood, and roasted meats. Though you can find tapas bars throughout Spain, Seville claims to be the birthplace of this custom, which dates back to the 17th century. Restaurateur Raimundo Fernandez specializes in some of the more exotic versions, things like wild boar ribs, peppers stuffed with pheasant and partridge, and fried chickpea pancakes garnished with prawns. How many tapas dishes are there?
I should need, 1 month to show you the complete tasting of tapa, Sevilla. If you go to one bar to another bar, you should have different tapa, because the imagination of the Andalusian cuisine extends, as big as the world.
Most of all, tapas are a way of life. In a country where lunch doesn't start until 2 and dinner isn't served until 9 or 10 at night, tapas is a nourishing social event that can start any time of the afternoon and go on non-stop. You can appease your hunger with a light snack or make a meal of it. Even late into the night, the streets are full of people hopping from tapas bars to music clubs like La Madruga. I got a lesson in a local dance called the Sevillana. Like tapas, it's an old tradition that is still practiced with a lot of passion today. I say goodbye to romantic Seville and head towards Jerez near the Atlantic coast, where a group of towns and vineyards forms what is known as the Golden Sherry Triangle. In Jerez, life is slower and old-fashioned, and the local market is still the centerpiece of social activity. The region's top chef, Jose Romero, agreed to give me a tour.
So you come to this market every morning?
Yeah, every morning.
Jose's restaurant, La Mesa Redonda, is known for featuring local ingredients on the menu, so the daily market is a must. The cuisine here is based on ancient foundations. Over 2,000 years ago, conquering Romans brought in olive oil, garlic, and wine. Then, with 700 years of Muslim rule, there are ingredients like pomegranates, eggplant, and citrus fruits. Finally, in the relatively recent 16th century, Spanish conquistadors brought discoveries from the New World, things like peppers and tomatoes. Jerez is near the Atlantic, so Romero loves cooking with an abundance of fresh seafood, carefully chosen from his most trusted suppliers, whom he has known since childhood.
Bocarón, muy bueno. This is one of my favorite fish, guys. That's where I come to buy mostly, nearly all the fish I buy it here.
Okay.
I buy it here, and that in the back, they are brothers.
Ah, okay. So
Yeah.
it's all the
But-
same family.
Yeah, but there's no problem because they sell completely different fish.
So each
like
one
that.
sort of has its territory.
That's right. I think they are the best ones in the whole
Really?
market. Okay, let's see what we are gonna
Yes.
cook today. That's fresh.
What is this fish?
Yes, this is red banded cyprine because as you can see the bands
The
it
stripes.
has. It's called in Spain. It's called urta.
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 So what should we get today?
I think we should have some shrimps so we can do some gambas al ajillo,
Okay,
typical from here.
great.
We are going to have, vamos a llevarnos 2 urtas, 1 kilo de gambas de aquellas. They're really lovely. They're called white shrimp. I'm going to put some olive oil on the bottom.
To coat the pan.
Yeah, to cook.
Jose
But afterwards
prepares
we
the
can
sea
start.
bream from the market very simply. The Andalusian philosophy is to enhance but never overwhelm the flavor of the main ingredient. This makes good sense to me for any dish.
You can help me.
After a layer of thinly sliced potatoes, peppers, onions, and tomatoes, he scores diagonal cuts in the fish to allow the flavors of the ingredients to seep in.
He eats, only crabs and shrimps, and so it takes
So
so
it has a really good diet.
Yeah,
It's
of
a very
course. I would
privileged
love
fish.
to have it. I would love to have it.
A pinch of salt seasons a second layer of sliced lemons, tomatoes, peppers, and onions.
We can put some more olive oil just on top.
And it's ready to go. The bream will bake for 20 to 25 minutes at 190 degrees Celsius. The fresh gambas of Sanlúcar are highly prized in Spain. Because of the particularly warm climate off the water, they are especially tasty.
How hot are these peppers?
They're quite hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jose uses an earthenware casserole dish known as the cazuela, which is used for both cooking and serving and can be found in every kitchen in Spain. Garlic is sliced and browned in sizzling olive oil.
And we have to put now the red chili. So before it gets too dark.
Too dark. Should we do that? Like
And you put,
this,
it
slowly?
takes that color. That's right, because instead it will. Now you turn the fire off and you wait 1 minute or 2, not more. Now they're cooked, you see they're white.
They're beautiful. It smells great. The whole kitchen is...
Look, it's nearly finished.
One final touch though, right?
Yeah.
Fino.
Fino from Jerez.
A splash of smoky sherry is always added at the end. In this case, a very dry Fino sherry direct from local vineyards.
Enough.
It smells wonderful.
Okay, we put it for 2 minutes. And
After 2 further minutes in the oven, delicious! The light flaky bream and roasted vegetables are infused with a hint of sherry. And as for the gambas,
That looks delicious. I can taste the roasted garlic and the peppers just enough. It's not too hot.
thank you.
Great. Thank you. And to Jerez.
Cheers. Thank you.
next up, a holy pastry and a tipple of something a little stronger. Since I'm visiting the birthplace of sherry, I want to quench my curiosity, not to mention my thirst, about the many varieties of this fortified wine, first developed here in the 14th century. I'm here to meet Javier Hidalgo to talk to him about sherry. His family has been in the business of making it for about 300 years. Tell me about this famous Manzanilla.
It's a fortified wine, which we drink not only as an aperitif, but also with food, especially with seafood and many other things. It only can be produced in this little town in Sanlúcar by the seaside cellars, by the seaside bodegas, and nowhere else in the world.
There is an art to tasting fine sherry. It is scooped out of an oak barrel where it's been fermenting for decades. It must be shaken in the glass to aerate it before drinking. Okay, so I'm gonna let you show me how to shake it.
You shake like this, and then smell it.
It's like liquid sunshine, this. Lovely.
You see, these bodegas are orientated to the sea to get the sea breeze coming from the Atlantic, from the ocean.
And that's why
that's what
Manzanilla
makes
is so rare, because it has to be done in this microclimate, right, near the seaside, and that's why it's so special to
it's exclusive
to Sanlúcar.
from
Exclusive
here,
to
from
Sanlúcar.
here, because here is the only place where you find this layer of yeast that we call flor.
And can I try it now?
Absolutely, and then again, you will find the seawater taste.
Yes.
To it. It's
infused with the brine of the ocean.
and it brings you a bit of saltiness or bitterness in it, like exactly like the salt water.
Okay.
This is it. This is Manzanilla.
It smells wonderful. The cliché of sherry is that it is a sweet aperitif, but that's because these are the varieties that are most exported. The drier, lighter brands like Manzanilla are a well-kept Spanish secret. Before I move on, there's one last treat I wanted to try. Pastry's so good, they're a religious experience. A visit to your local convent for dessert is not uncommon here. In a tradition that dates back for centuries, nuns are often in the pastry business, producing cakes, sugary biscuits, and tarts from ancient recipes. Buenas tardes, madre. ¿Puedo comprar un cuarto kilo de pasta? Service por favor. Is discreet. Your sales lady is often cloistered behind a mysterious revolving window. Adios. They're very good. Heavenly, actually. Coming up in part 3, I whip up a paella for 70. In search of more authentic flavors and spices from southern Spain, I leave sherry country and head to the remote central region of La Mancha. The region of La Mancha is best known for Don Quixote and those famous windmills, but it's also the place where Spain's precious crop of saffron is harvested. Saffron comes from the delicate crocus flower, which blooms for only a few weeks a year. The fragile red stamen inside the flower must immediately be hand-picked. This painstaking labor is celebrated at the World Championship of Saffron Picking. The whole town of Consuegra turns out for a contest that includes the all-star contestants, the panel of distinguished judges, and of course, there's the saffron queen in her court.
1, 2, 3.
And they're off. It takes about 200 flowers to yield 1 single gram, which is why saffron is so expensive.
Mancha de Albacete y por supuesto aquí en Consuegra.
Spain produces about 70% of the world's saffron. After picking, the stamen is immediately roasted. This preserves the flavor for up to 2 years.
Vienen de forma simbólica a participar.
And it looks like we have a winner.
Porque van a participar en el concurso, en el festival.
But the judges must verify the results with a hand count.
Y por último, el primer premio para Rosa de Azafrán de Oro y 25.000 pesetas.
Porque van a participar en el concurso, en el festival de coros y danzas que habrá a continuación.
I say adios to the happy winners and embark on my next mission, to the Mediterranean coastline known as the Costa del Sol, Spain's most popular tourist destination.
Like many beach resorts, the Costa del Sol can sometimes seem like a gastronomic wasteland, but one chef has made his mark in Nerja at the Playa Burriana.
Ayo is the owner, head chef, and namesake of this popular beach restaurant. He specializes in one thing, paella, and he does it with passion.
Ciao, Ayo, ¿qué tal?
Muy bien.
Podemos...
I volunteered to help out during the lunch rush to study his technique. Ayo starts by browning chicken in olive oil, lots of it.
And this is the most important part, saffron. This is what separates a mediocre paella from an authentic Spanish paella. And we're going to add it to the middle of the pot. Now we're putting in tomatoes. They've been peeled. I think I'm getting my legs roasted along with the chicken legs here. Now I know why he wears those knee pads. Now we're putting calamari in. At this point, we're going to add some green peppers. You want to use the short-grained rice. This is the best kind. It's Spanish short grain called bomba. And we're just going to put this in el centro. I want to know how he does this without a helper.
As I struggle with my paddle, I'm in awe of the man who's been cooking up 4 or 5 of these massive paellas every day for the last 30 years.
Mucho más músculos de mí. This is the secret of Ayo's success. He makes this stock every day, fresh. Whatever's left, he throws away. That's what makes his paella so tasty.
Y la base de la verdura es el puerro.
Okay, he says that the stock has a mixture of seafood and chicken, but what makes it extra tasty is the vegetables in it. And he says he puts a lot of vegetables in it. By adding more wood under the pan, what Ayo is really doing is turning up the fire, which is what we should do before adding the broth. You want to add the broth little by little. Otra vez así. Yeah. Every town in Spain has their own version of paella. The original version of paella comes from the south of Spain, from the region of Valencia, and it was made with snails, rabbit, and chicken.
When Spanish people do paella, they generally do it big. It's fiesta food, and although a small portion for 2 or 4 can be cooked on top of the stove, it is universally agreed that the best paella is a large one, cooked outdoors over a wood fire.
Now we've removed it off the fire, but it'll still continue to cook, and it'll do so until all of the broth is absorbed into the rice and all of the flavor is absorbed into the rice. Buenísimo.
Pretty happy with that?
Yes, very happy. My stomach's very happy. It's honestly the best paella I've ever had in my life. In every grain of rice, I can taste the seafood, I can taste the chicken, I can smell the wonderful saffron aroma. I also get some of the tomato and pepper. It's great.
Next up, a change of scenery as I head to the mountains for some hearty country fare. The great thing about traveling through southern Spain is the variety of landscapes you have. I'm leaving the beach this morning, and by lunch I should be at the snow-capped Sierra Nevada mountains. My route goes via Granada to the Sierra Nevada mountains and further up to the highest village in Spain, Chaves. Granada is home of the Alhambra Palace, the last bastion of Moorish rule in Spain. It's a reminder of the distinctive stamp the Moors left on life here, not just in food, but in architecture, music, and a sophisticated liberal sensibility that scandalized the Catholic Europeans.
Okay, ¿me puede hacer?
Sí.
Muchas gracias.
After the Moors were expelled, their sophisticated culture was so suppressed that the Catholic king even made a decree forbidding the heathen practice of taking a bath every day. Thankfully, Moorish roots, like these newly renovated Arab baths where you can be served mint tea in ornate tiled splendor, are being rediscovered and thoroughly enjoyed. An ancient mill converted into a hotel is my home base in the mountains. It's run by Paco Fernandez and Mercedes Martin, who feed their guests extremely well on rich mountain food, much of it coming from their own farm. One prominent dish that keeps cropping up again and again in different versions in Spanish cooking is the estofado. It's a kind of stew where everything, meat, vegetables, spices, any type of broth or liquid goes in one pot. And today we're going to make a version with Mercedes that's called estofado de cordero y verduras, which basically is a stew of lamb and vegetables. So let's get started. Mercedes is putting some olive oil in a heated cazuela pot, and she's browning the loin and pieces of lamb that she's sliced up. You want to just put one layer of meat so that all the meat cooks. Mercedes starts with carrots, red peppers, and celery. As you can see, Mercedes uses the green leafy tops of the celery stalk as well. More ingredients are added to the pot: turnips, tomatoes, and bay leaves. We're ready for the wine. Now Mercedes is adding black peppercorns whole, and she's also using a few strands of saffron. Mercedes is putting the whole bulb of garlic, peel and all. She says that it gives it a nice aroma and that she leaves it in this way so that it's easy to remove before serving the dish. Ahora, ¿qué ponemos?
El agua.
El agua. Now all we need to do is add some water. We're going to let this cook for about an hour on a very low fire so it just simmers nicely and all those flavors blend together and the vegetables cook down. We still add the squash, but that only takes about 5 minutes, so we add it towards the end.